Welcome to Jetstream. What's up, Anthony? How you doing?
Not bad. What's going on?
Not much, man. Just finally got a chance to sit down, recap everything this crazy day, right? I mean, started early this
Wild,
morning.
right?
Getting text all over the place. I mean, huge news in Jetland for sure, you know. So I mean, let's just get right to it, man.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? I mean, Robert Saleh gets fired and Ulbrich is our new head coach.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't shy about it from like day one. Starting with the 49ers game. I know we weren't supposed to win that game. That was a game that I thought, but I just want to see some fight. I want to see this team look like they were, ready to compete. Our aspirations for this team was, deep playoff run, potentially a Super Bowl. And coming out flat like they did in week one wasn't acceptable. But again, played against a stronger team. I thought there was rust involved because we didn't really play the preseason. But then the week 2 game, the game that I went to against Tennessee, we're very fortunate to get out of that game with a win. Will Levis is an idiot, and that's the only reason I think that we really left that game with a win. Week 3, we blew the doors off the Patriots. That was a good showing. But then week 4, week 5, just the same crap, undisciplined, too many penalties. We've seen it time and time again. This team just doesn't look like they come out to these games prepared. And in both those games, not the first game, but in the second game, able to kind of work their way back. And it's just like, you look at this, it's like, if you just came in and had a plan, had a thought process, maybe we're looking at these things different. But this was Rodgers being here. He picked the coaching staff. He picked everyone that's here basically, and that's why he wanted to be here. So it's a bit of a shock to me that it happened, but it was necessary in my opinion.
Yeah, I same here. I had a feeling too. I didn't think it would be this week. I thought it would be definitely after that Monday night game. Get the team all prepared for this. But I guess, I mean, who cares? Just rip the Band-Aid off and just start new. You're right. He's
Mm-hmm.
definitely not prepared. I mean, none of these games. I mean, if you see his whole coaching tenure with the Jets, I mean, how many times can you say that we came out with a game plan and we stuck to it? Out of what? How many games did he coach for us? 17 times 4. I mean, we're talking about like 55 to 60 games.
56.
Yeah, 56 games. I mean, he just
56 games. His record is 20 and 36.
Yeah, 20 and 36. And you're right. I mean, he comes out with nothing. Absolutely. And not holding players accountable. That was another thing. And you started to see the riffraff in his locker room. I mean, it started last week with the whole cadence with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that was one thing. And then this week with Quincy Williams, you've seen it. It's starting. You could see it in the players' eyes. And I don't know who posted a picture of the sideline with Robert Saleh with this disgruntled face. And you've seen the whole team behind him.
It's all the time with him like that, Yeah. It's all the time. That's his body language. I mean, I was very in favor when we got him. And anybody who says that we didn't want him, blah, blah, like, yeah, I understand the whole, like, he's an defensive coach. People wanted an offensive guy, so on and so forth, fine. But going into that coaching cycle, he was the number one guy. I mean, let's be real. I mean, even Jacksonville, they had the vacancy too. They got Urban Meyer. I mean, that was a situation. Urban Meyer only went there because Trevor Lawrence was there. That wasn't really like a popular name that was getting thrown out there. It was one of those weird situations because it was generational quarterback. He pulled somebody out of the norm. But outside that, it was Saleh. You can play hindsight. Nobody was talking about Campbell being the number one guy. His name was floated out for years. His name. I feel like we heard about him even freaking the Todd Bowles hiring cycle.
You're right.
His name was always out there. For sure, Adam Gase. I know 100%, but I feel like we even heard it even during Todd Bowles. His name was always out there, but just nobody, he wasn't the popular candidate. Turns out he's the best coach, I think, that's been hired in a good period of time. I think you could definitely put him up there for how he's handled and turned around the Lions. But yeah, I mean, Saleh was the guy I wanted. He was always passionate, fire on the sideline. Defense makes a big play. He's pumping up and down. Just the emotion you saw from him on the sideline. And I don't feel like we ever really got that from this team. you look at a team and you want them to exemplify what your head coach is. Detroit 100% is Dan Campbell. Like, you can look at that team and they are hard-nosed. Even their receivers, even Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's physical. He blocks. He does his job. He does all the dirty work. Every single player on that team does their job 100% of the time. And with Saleh, it's been a lot of laid back. It's been a lot of excuses, a lot of penalties, a lot of lack of preparation. Just the list goes on and on and on. And eventually that list just has to come down to your walking papers. And that's where we're at. New coach.
That's exactly what happened. I mean, hopefully we get our own version of Dan Campbell with Ulbrich. He also was an ex-player. Great defensive mind. I think he's got fight. I like the players who respect him, and that's key. I still think, though, deep down inside, no matter what you would have done there, it's still the offense needs to be addressed. Like, I don't know, man. This Hackett, no. He cannot be calling calls anymore. I'm sorry. Keep him in the office somewhere. Let Todd Downing call the calls. Do something. You got to mix it up. If you're going to do it, you got to do it now. You fired Saleh. This is the next move to make. And I think it needs to happen.
Yeah. So I don't know if you had a chance to listen to Ulbricht's press conference. That's definitely something that's on the table, 100%.
I know it is.
There's varying reports out there. There's reports all over the map right now. So you really can't trust anything. There's reports saying that he was escorted out by security, and then there's reports saying it was just a normal, that's normal course of business. Like when someone's fired, you walk them out. You don't just let them friggin' lollygag in the lobby.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So there's a little bit of that. There's conversations that Woody Johnson and
Aaron Rodgers,
an unnamed. Well, no, Woody Johnson and an unnamed player were involved in the conversations to let Saleh go. And
we know who that is.
Saying Rodgers, what?
Quincy Williams.
Well, no, I understand that, but there's also reports saying that Aaron Rodgers was caught off guard. So there's all these different things you're hearing, and there's really not much to believe. So anything I would say you listen to right now or hear right now, I would say take it with a grain of salt. My assumption is Rodgers had an understanding of what was going on. Let's just be real. They're not going to make this call. Obviously, Woody Johnson has the final say. He's the owner. But he's not just going to hey, by the way, last night I fired your coach. It's not. It doesn't work that way. Not when you bring a guy in here that's supposed to be turning around the franchise. So I do think Rodgers was aware. I don't think he was caught off guard. Maybe he was caught off guard that it actually was going to happen. But I don't think they just shocked him with the fact that he already got fired. But what's your thoughts on Ulbrich? I know we talked about it a little bit. You're hoping he could be that, but history says when you make a change mid-season, the team doesn't make the playoffs.
They don't, right? Being that it's so early, being that he's been here for 4 years as well, is going into his fourth season as well. I believe he has an understanding of the game. Well, he does. He's a defensive coordinator, but I think the players are going to play for this guy, especially now you shake it up. Last year we had that same thing happen with Las Vegas with what's his name there? Oh,
Pierce.
My gosh. Yeah. He came in and got that team to the playoffs, right?
They made the playoffs.
No, but they were close. They went on a winning streak
at
the end, right? Yeah. And sometimes, they've never – I got what you're saying. I'm not a big fan of changing head coaches in the middle of the year. But this needs to happen. Otherwise, this whole thing is going to just burn on us, bro. If there's any spark to be given, this is it. This is the only thing we have right now.
Yeah.
So,
looking over, Philly just tacked on a run. 6-1.
Jeez.
2 outs though. Let's get out of this inning. Anyway.
Oh man.
But yeah, my thoughts on it. I understand, obviously if you're making a coaching change in the middle of the season, things aren't going well. And usually, typically that change usually happens middle of the year, maybe even later at sometimes. I would say if there's a situation where, maybe you can go against that normal, kind of way of thinking, it is early in the season. It's still early.
Hey, listen,
I think this team is so think this team is so poorly coached that what's the worst that can happen here? I mean, it could have ripple effects. Obviously players love the guy. They all respect the guy. But it was kind of a play place over there. I mean, let's be real. Like, the penalties. This offensive line has this offensive line is full of players. I mean, it's got names, and unfortunately, those names aren't kind of constituting into results. There's got to be some accountability. There's got to be like, hey, like you got to be better. But every single time he stepped to the podium, it's been all about like, oh, we're getting there. We see some good things. I got to look at the tape. Blah blah blah. Anytime there's an issue, oh, that's a Joe question. And Joe Douglas only talks like 3 times a year. So like, who's writing down all Joe Douglas questions for when he actually sits down and conversates?
I was kind of surprised that Joe Douglas.
The Ulbrich thing.
Mm-hmm.
Woody Johnson took the call. I mean, it was a Woody Johnson call, so I think it makes sense.
Yeah, you get where I was going with that.
I didn't hear the Woody Johnson stuff. Yeah,
it was.
I see. Woody Johnson stuff. I was looking for it. You did?
It was on like. It was just he came out and said it was my decision. Blah blah blah. We have a really good. This is the best team I built. That was built. His best team he's ever had. Yeah. I mean, he's got a lot of good points there. I mean, I honestly have to give it to Woody Johnson. I mean, he did something he normally never does, and he did it. I mean, you know what? I like the move. Let's just go out and fucking take care of business, dude. That's all I got to say, Oh, boy.
Well, all right, let's make 2 more moves and really like show that this isn't a lost cause.
2 more. The 2 moves I would make.
The 2 moves that really need to be made, and you can.
The 2 moves, Devontae Adams and Hassan Reddick. Get them in the building now. That's all in.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that since we're on it. Fuck, another run. Let's talk a little bit about that. So Devontae, obviously, the Jets are kind of, slated to be the front runner here with the whole situation for obvious reasons. Saints are up there. I guess Green Bay's worked their way in there a little bit. That doesn't really make too much sense, but whatever. Steelers are on that list. Bills are on that list. I've heard for a short period of time the 49ers, but that doesn't make too much sense. But does the situation with Saleh getting fired have any impact on this, beneficial or non-beneficial, overall?
I mean,
what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are this. I mean, why would he want to come here now? Like he just went through this in Vegas, and now he's going to come here. The same thing is going to happen. Like he's coming into like a fire right now, dude. You know what I'm saying? So if he's feeling, all right, I really want to play with Aaron Rodgers, give it another year. Here we go. If it's a 1 to 2 year commitment with Rodgers, I could see him staying here and coming to the Jets. But if like the whole organization is like, oh, what are we going to do? I mean, next year we might be hiring a whole brand new staff. Does he want to be part of that again? I want him to be here. I think that offense would look so much better, but it really comes down. He has a choice at the end of the day, What do you think about it?
I swear to God, sometimes technology, bro. It's freaking ridiculous. No, I heard what you were saying. I heard everything you said. So, I mean, I want him here too. No doubt about that. And you know what? Let's fucking be real. All right. What has Joe Douglas got to lose? And maybe it's a situation where Woody has his hands in the pie and saying, like, listen, you can't be friggin' being willy-nilly. Understandable. Because if Joe Douglas really is on the hot seat with everything going on, obviously you don't want him kind of using this last situation. We've seen so many times, let's look back at McCagnon, what he did his last off season. He spent Wild, Mosley, Bell,
oh geez,
whatever, wasting draft picks. He went kind of, he didn't go crazy with draft picks. He went up and traded for Darnold, whatever. It is what it is. But it made it a little difficult from a new coach, new GM when we were hiring that next cycle for someone to want to come in, knowing that the Jets were limited on assets, so on and so forth. So you don't want that. You want to make sure you're financially flexible as you move forward. So I can see that being an issue, but I think that all goes to the wayside when you're talking about a very minimal window. No matter what the window is short, no matter what you're looking at a short little period of time that you can actually do something with Rodgers. I mean, we can all be hopeful that Jordan Travis turns out to be something special, but let's be real. He was picked, middle rounds of the draft. It's not, that's not where you find franchise quarterbacks. You can find them. It has happened. Obviously, Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, Joe Montana. There's numbers of quarterbacks that got there, but there's also many, many more quarterbacks that have failed in those positions.
For sure.
Do I want them to get Adams? I mean, everything about it makes sense, especially if you're not going to pay Hassan Reddick. I mean, it's one or the other, really, at this point. You either infuse some friggin' juice into this friggin' offense, or you enhance the defense. And I do think the Jets' defense obviously would be beneficial with an edge rusher to tack on with Will McDonald, because that guy's an animal. What's he 6 sacks in the year now? He's every bit of what we wanted out of a pass rusher, picking where we did. So anybody who said, I was big on Jackson, I wanted him, but Will McDonald has been, pleasant surprise. So is Jackson, but at least the Jets didn't go out there and get a guy like Vernon Goldstein at the spot.
Yeah, so that's for sure. Against someone that's playing. Mm-hmm. He's playing at a high level too right now. You know?
So a big thing that gets floated around with the whole Devontae thing. Does he actually help? I mean, my big thing on that is the Jets are 4-1 if he's on the field. I mean, that's probably the case.
Worst case, 3-2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think they score some more than 9 points against Denver if he's on the field.
I agree.
And I think, I would like to think, critical where Rodgers is typically looking for Lazard right now. You're looking for Devontae Adams and Lester. If the Jets are all in, be all in. Make this move. It's a player that wants to be here with the quarterback. Supposedly he's at the top of their list. Whether or not that's just being fed to us because of the situation with Rodgers, and if it fails, whatever. But I think this is exactly what needs to happen here at this moment in time. Dane, who has been on our show for the past few weeks, has joined the chat.
Hey, what's up, Dane?
Dane says, "What's up, fellas? Been asleep? Did I miss anything?" Well, Dane,
Devontae didn't come to the Jets yet.
Devontae's not there yet. I'm hoping that's a little birthday present for me tomorrow. But Devontae's not here yet. But neither is Saleh. So, Saleh has been kicked to the can. He's gone. Listen, nice guy. I get it all. You hate to see a guy get fired, but in the same sense, it's a results business.
Business, man.
He wasn't producing enough results. It needed to happen, and kind of happy it did. But the Devontae thing is something that also needs to happen. There's a lot of people looking in right now, and it does look like the Jets are potentially throwing away the season. I don't think that's the case. I think that's a stupid take. I mean, you don't have Aaron Rodgers here and throw away the season. This is not pure logic. You bring in Rodgers to win, and you make this move because you're not winning, and you need to turn this thing around. That's why this isn't a throwaway situation. This isn't like a few years ago when what was it? The Raiders transitioned over to the special teams guy. I forget his name.
Oh, Williams?
No, guy from the Packers. I forget his name anyway. They went to him, and it was supposed to be like, this guy's, going to lead us right into the top 5 pick, and he ends up freaking going on fire, and they almost make the playoffs that year.
And they fired
I think they actually did make the playoffs. So that's actually a little bit of now I'm thinking about it. They didn't fire him because of that, but they did go to McDaniels, which was worse than being fired, I guess.
Yeah, it was, man. That guy's a mess. I'll tell you though. I mean,
got Dane popping back in.
I hope Adams doesn't leave his boy hanging. What does he say there?
Saying hi. I hope Adams doesn't leave his boy hanging. But come on, man, your buddy in the trenches needs you. 100%. I mean,
does.
Does he want it? I mean, you look at the teams that are lined up. I can see him going to a team like Buffalo potentially. Buffalo's riddled with wide receivers. They need somebody there, especially after the Khalil Shakir injury. They need wide receiver help. I could see him going to a team like Buffalo. Has a good quarterback. Are they a receiver away from being like an elite offense at this point? Potentially. I could see something like that. But Saints are up there on the list as far as like teams that he would want to go to. Why would he want to go back to the Saints and do this whole thing all over again with Carr? He already did it. Didn't work. Carr even left him.
Yeah.
So Carr bounced off.
Carr get hurt? Isn't he out for like 4 or 5 weeks?
I know like he left the game. I thought he left the game.
He might be missing some time now.
I
don't know the extent of the injury, but that kind of takes him out.
See what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it takes him out. I mean, they're still 2-3. I mean, I don't think it takes him out. Missed multiple games with an oblique injury. That I didn't see that one. So maybe that helps the Jets out a little bit.
You got Baltimore.
Dane actually. Dane with the Dr. Dane coming out with the injury updates. 2 to 5 weeks, he's saying. So I guess that helps the Jets a little bit. But, I mean, all these teams think about, like, any of those teams could be an option, I guess what I'm saying. But why not run it back with your main guy? The guy freaking got you where he is right now.
Help her brother out.
I think it makes too much sense. That's what you do.
Just make the call, man.
So are we going to see Spencer Rattler? Like, I mean,
I don't know.
They brought someone else in after him. It wasn't Rattler. It was some schmo they brought in after in the Saints game. And that I remember I brought him out. I thought like he just like
I thought it was
left the game. It was it was over. Just give like the backup look. No, it was Jay Hayner. I don't know who the freak this guy is. Jake Hayner.
That's the guy that backed up Payton for all these years.
H-A-E.
Oh, not Painter?
Jake Painter.
Fucking guy, man, for years.
Curtis Painter.
Curtis Painter.
Curtis Painter.
Oh, man.
Curtis Painter gave us some good memories, though. I'll tell you what. We were done and over with in that game. With I thought it was over. I'm like, season's done.
Oh, boy.
Painter. Oh, my God. Anyway. So that's the Devontae stuff. So obviously, we talked about Saleh getting fired. Let's talk about his last game as a Jet coach, that Vikings game. Obviously, we talked about it already. The slow starts just are completely and utterly unacceptable. And that's obviously what led to it. Down 17-0. And, it's hard to like kind of identify what the problem is on offense. I mean, it's easy to see it, but it's hard to like understand like why it's the case. You have this offensive line that's full of talent, has potential. As the Mets bring in another run, 7-2, in the bottom of the 8th.
Let's do this, baby.
Good stuff there. But it would be nice here, but you have the potential on the offensive line. Why is it that we cannot buy a run on any short downs? Last week it was why didn't they run Braylon Allen? This week they run Braylon Allen and they can't do shit still. It's just reached a point of like it's ridiculous. I mean, Keith Carter was someone I thought should have been fired last year, but they wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. There was so many offensive line combinations, blah 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 blah. Again with the excuses, and here we are with an All-Pro left tackle, a future Hall of Fame left tackle. Joe Tittman has shown signs. It's so weird because the interior of the offensive line, like when you look at it, like position by position, individual by individual, they don't look terrible. But as a group, they're just missing. they're just not. The gel isn't there. The chemistry isn't there. Could they have benefited from playing preseason games? Who the hell knows? We're too late for that. But it's just we're 5 weeks in, and there's no room on the ground. It doesn't matter who you run. Like, it's just crazy. It doesn't matter who we play against. It's just the same situation. The only game we had success was against the Patriots because we just threw it all day long, and that's not going to sustain. But what are your thoughts on this game? Like, I mean, I obviously talked about the quick deficit in the run game.
Yeah, just a real touch up on that offensive line. Since Morgan Moses went out, that's where this all started coming down. I mean, they can't run the ball anymore after he came out because the first 2 games they did run the ball pretty good. I mean, it wasn't bad, But after that, I know we got Olu Fashanu on the right side. I mean, he's had his moments, but he's also he's been overwhelmed. Same thing with Elijah Vera Tucker. A lot of people are not talking, but he's coming off to a slow start right now. But they need to fix that fast, because they definitely need to run the ball much better. The Vikings recap game that's what I'm going to blame it on right now. That we cannot.
It's kind of,
the ball. You know what I'm saying?
And it's not even just run the ball better. Run the ball more. I mean,
yeah. How many times did we rush the ball that game? How many times?
14.
14
rushes.
That's not good.
14 rushes this week, 18 rushes the week before. I understand this game, like, potentially, like, deviating from the run because you were behind. 17-0 is nothing in the NFL. I'm not saying that that's a reason to throw away the run. But I can see the game got away from you. I can see the game getting away from you, and you transition your game plan a little bit. But why are you rushing 18 times against Denver? I understand they couldn't run, but you also don't abandon the run. I think it's like a weird I mean, obviously the play calling has to change. It's got to get better. And I mean, changing the play caller from Nate Hackett to Todd Downing, I mean, it's not, we're not going from
Mike McDaniel's play caller here.
Yeah, we're not going from Adam Gase to Sean McVay with this move, all right? I mean, it's
give me Adam Gase's his first 15 plays were great. After that, his game plan was shot, right or wrong, with Adam Gase.
No, his first 15 plays weren't great either.
No, they were. Look him up. They were on fire the first 15 plays.
You want to hear this crazy stat for the people who Jets shouldn't have fired Saleh, that crowd? Do you know that Saleh has the 3rd worst record as a Jets coach behind only Adam Gase and Richie Kotite? Two coaches that took disastrous seasons. A 2-14 year from Gase. Kotite had 2 terrible seasons, 1-15 and 3-13.
Yeah, I remember that.
1-15 and 3-13. So it took Kotite 2 disastrous seasons, Adam Gase 1 disastrous season, and Saleh's right there with them. It's just been a lot of mediocrity that's kind of boiled into a low winning percentage. But yeah, 3rd worst winning percentage for an NFL coach. But yeah, continuing with this Vikings game. Listen, I got to go into this game a little bit from the referee standpoint. I'm not one to really complain overly about the referees, but there was a lot of calls, against these Jets corners, Reed and Sauce, against Justin Jefferson. Should they have been called, so on and so forth, fine. And there was one call that was just completely egregious on DJ Reed. It was a critical play, would have led to third down inside the 15, eventually possibly resulting in a punt. Would have been in field goal range at the time. That's when we were down by a field goal. A situation that could have worked out for us at that point, but instead they called pass interference downfield. Whatever. Referees are going to make bad calls. It's fine. But then later on in the game, in a critical moment for us, throw the ball up there to Mike Williams. Mike Williams' arms are just being grabbed. I understand if you want to let the players fight, but let them fight all day. Don't choose when you want them to fight. That's the problem. I'm all about it. If it goes up to me, let them play. Let them play every flags. And unfortunately, for us, they missed the ball on that one for sure.
They definitely did. Didn't like it at all. Me personally, you got to see, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, yeah, we
on the line.
had.
Garrett Wilson is 13 catches, 100 yards.
So that whole game was a complete disaster from the beginning.
Spectrum, be like, what
Yeah, you definitely do. But
yeah,
down 17-0 early on. I was already thinking right then and there. I was like, fire Saleh already. That's how I was. But the Jets shown this many times. They fight back. I mean, just to have the chance in that game, we should have beaten this team. That's what makes me sick to my stomach. We should be 3-2, not 2-3. Vikings should have their loss. Darnold looked like shit that game. I don't want to hear anything. We kind of shut down Jefferson. He didn't do nothing all game. Not making the right call at the end of the game. If you're going to call for one, not for us, that's kind of BS. But a whole other thing. But can't forget the fact that listen. Aaron Rodgers threw 3 picks. I mean, one resulting in a field goal and one as a pick 6. That was 10 points that we gave. And, that's unacceptable, man, especially from him, But he's Aaron Rodgers. He kept us in the game as well, Just to have that chance, the missing Garrett Wilson at the end of the game on that pump, whatever he did, that he just deked out the corner and just went deep, and Aaron Rodgers just misses him. I mean, these are the things that they're not on sync yet with. That's why Devontae needs to be here. These are the reasons. And then Lazard dropping 4 crucial. One was a touchdown. I know it was a little hard to get that ball, but he had it in his hand. But he made some silly drops, man. I mean, that's 4.
Mm-hmm.
4 drops that game. I mean. When everything is wrong, everything is wrong.
I mean, there's a couple. I'll give a couple. Like, Mets are 1 out away, by the way, taking this game.
Nice.
I'll give them benefits out on a couple of them. What was that?
No Diaz out there?
No Diaz. They're going Stanek.
Gotcha.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. 2 strikes. But yeah, I mean, Lazard's got to be better. He's got to make those catches. I mean, Garrett Wilson, I don't know if you heard me. I was like intermittent with the internet. He had a monster game this game. 13 catches, 100 yards. It's
wasn't he
you got the players
over
there
20 times?
There was something nuts. He got a lot of the ball thrown to him a lot.
20-something times.
13 catches.
That was pretty insane.
I mean, every bit of it, he definitely had his breakout game. I thought this was going to be his breakout game. I had it out there. I actually ran a parlay hoping he would get it. Ooh, strike 3, game over.
Nice.
Full expectations that he would have a big game coming into this. At expectations of Rodgers doing it too. The thing that's most alarming, you go into this game, Minnesota had the worst pass defense in the NFL, and we struggled for an entire half to do anything against them up until second half when we started really moving the ball a little bit better. But that second half really comes down to Rodgers, just being Rodgers and knowing what to do in these situations. I keep telling you, like, it's going to come down to a situation where we're going to get out coached. But hopefully now with Ulbrich, at least eases some of that. I'm not saying he's like an all-world coach or whatever, but at least maybe it's different, man. Something different.
Not much better.
It's a little bit better. That's all we really need. Anything else you want to touch on with this game?
No.
I mean, Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams makes a big play every freaking week, man. Every freaking week, this guy makes a big play.
I was hoping he took that to the
Sherwood's
house.
Looking solid.
Go. And I was like, damn. I said, it's the only way we can get in. We didn't even hit the end zone there anyway. We didn't score that drive, did we?
Darnold. No, that was after the pick 6.
Yeah. But we didn't score on that drive.
No, that was the next drive was the pick 6.
Oh, the next drive was the pick 6. That's right. Yeah. Oh, That's what I'm saying. Like, we could, if he took that to the house, man, this would have been a whole different game. Who knows? Saleh might still be there.
Yeah.
No. Did you hear a rumor about Saleh?
I think he would
got fired because he had that Lebanese symbol on his jersey or something.
That's stupid because there's actually been it's kind of been rebuffed a little bit because he also wore it last year too.
I was like, really? Doesn't make no sense.
He also wore it last year too. So I mean, yeah, it's one of those stupid things that people try and latch onto. I know Joe Benigno said it on the Jake Asman show today.
That's where I heard it.
I don't buy that.
That's where I heard it.
I don't buy that, man. I think that's could it have been? I mean, possibly. I know like Woody's big into the politics, obviously. With he was in friggin' England for however many years for.
Is he going to go? If Trump wins, is he going back to England? We're gonna have his brother run the Dude, that'll be another 4 years of misery.
Hire a coach before you go. Hire a coach.
Please. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully Ulbrich takes us to the playoffs and he's our next head coach. Because if he gets this team to the playoffs, man, that's all that matters. He deserves
tomorrow. Rangers Suarez versus Jose Quintana. Quintana's got a beast this playoffs. No, he would be Game 5. So let's not go there.
No, we don't want that. Oh, let's take care of business tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, that'd be awesome.
But there's an alternate universe where Saleh gets fired last year, and Jim Harbaugh is our coach. Oh my god.
Oh man, do you think Woody would have made that call?
Oh yeah, I think he would have.
But doesn't Harbaugh have complete control in San Diego?
I mean, he doesn't have full control, but
Joe Douglas, everybody, you know.
Okay.
No,
Send them all.
Shit,
Send them all. I think when you have a guy like Harbaugh, who's like, a program builder, like a legitimate program builder. Obviously, we saw what he did with Michigan. He's literally a player a coach. I mean, that recruits players. That type of guy, and he turns things around fast. I mean, Michigan turned around really quick. It took a couple of years. Obviously, they couldn't get over the hump for a little while with Ohio State. Eventually got past that hump. And then obviously, a couple of years in the playoffs, couldn't get past the big teams. And then finally won the whole thing. But yeah, we're talking about a situation. If this whole thing got handled differently, I wonder if that's a situation. I mean, obviously, Harbaugh has a little bit of a affection towards California. Maybe that's what he wanted, but
yeah, for sure.
Anyway, so we can dream. We can dream.
Hey, real quick, let's before we get into the final thing here. So let's just assume, let's just think 2025 for a second. We got to interview head coaches. Who are your top 3 head coaches you would bring in?
All right. So here's my thing. All right. If you're going to go after a guy who did it before, I have no issue with going after a guy like Vrabel. I have no issue with that.
He was.
I just want to know who's his offensive coordinator. That's the biggest thing for me. Who is? And these are the things that are obviously going to get asked in the press conference and stuff. Who is your offensive coordinator? Because we cannot keep doing this situation. Hiring a defensive coordinator that comes in with one of his friends, little intern guy that has a promising future as an offensive. No, even LaFleur, I mean, he turns out to be okay when you look in hindsight to what the hell we got going on now. But simply like just not, enough, obviously. Like you look at the pairing of Dan Quinn when he went to Atlanta, like that was a no-brainer at the time. I don't know what happened with the Jets in that situation, why we ended up going with Bowles. But at the time, we were always that was the guy the Jets were going to get was Dan Quinn with Kyle Shanahan, and that was the situation. That's what was going to happen. Shanahan would have been out during 2 years anyway. So I mean, and then Dan Quinn was also just like not ready for the head coaching, so it wouldn't have worked out anyway. But we at least would have had a fun couple of years of offensive ingenuity. Like the frig, like how the hell is it? How is it? No matter who the quarterback is. No matter who the coordinator is, no matter who the frig anybody is, like we can't run offense. Anyway, so I have no problem with a guy like Vrabel. I want to know who his coordinator is.
He was my number one.
Other than that, let's look after Ben Johnson.
He ain't coming.
Really take a look. Huh?
That guy will only come in the most perfect situation. He had the chance with Washington. The number 2 pick overall, any quarterback over $100 million in cap space, and he refused it. So you think he would come to the Jets with no quarterback? They'll be sitting somewhere in hopefully late 20s. But if we're sitting in the late 20s, they're not looking for a head coach. Ulbrich will be back there next year. So I don't know. I really don't know. But you're right. I mean, Ben Johnson would be an awesome hire.
And then number 3. See, I mean, I feel like the guy from Bobby Slowick from Houston. I think from Houston. No, Detroit's Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson's in, yeah.
I'm talking.
I know you're talking Slowick.
Guy Slowick from Houston. I think he just comes off as like a guy who's too fresh. You know what I mean? I think he still needs a little bit more time. I don't like the 1 year, 2 year guy unless like it's just somebody who you know. Like I was big on Mike McDaniel in the even in the Saleh cycle, and I know that was premature to the whole thing. But when you know what San Francisco does really really well is run the football, and he was their run game coordinator, and even changed up how they ran the football. Like he was the one who started with the toss, the pitch tosses to Deebo Samuel. He's the one who started that whole thing. That wasn't a thing that was done. Now teams do it all across the league. Like he started with that whole thing, and he obviously brought it to Miami as well. That inside toss that teams just don't do because of that deception that it causes. You know, when you as soon as you see a quarterback go with the tossing motion, you think it's going out, but little do you know he's tossing it right behind him for a straight run. Like that was a Mike McDaniel thing that I thought was really like something different. Like, and that's what I'm looking for. Someone who does something different.
Always got a fresh eye to the game, you know?
Different, and does it very, very well.
He does.
I
got one for you.
Who that guy is right now? I mean, it's so hard to tell. But
how about bringing sexy Rexy back?
I would say you always want to take a olive off of McVay's tree. But the problem with the olive off of McVay's tree is that's Mike LaFleur right now.
Yeah, it is.
It's Mike LaFleur right now. So,
jeez. How about Rex Ryan?
You want to come back?
Oh no, he wouldn't want to come back.
He went.
Hell no.
Through. I don't know. I mean, coach who just got fired as a head coach, then sure. Like I don't know like who that guy is, but I'll take something like that. That would be awesome. But
who, Rex?
I don't know. I'm not that far enough into it.
No, let's Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan.
Guy's been out of football for 10 years. I saw his name posted out there.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you think is going to happen? He'll be a good motivator.
Yeah, no, it was like everybody was talking about it. It was like, I want Rex back. And the guys, yeah, sure. I bet you want Cower too, right? Like these guys have been out of football forever. You know, it's a new game now. No, I like the list you gave out. I like Ben Johnson.
Not that he would do it.
What happened?
Not that he would do it, but if the Jets brought in like a hot shot offensive coordinator type of thing as their head coach, and then said, "Hey, Rex Ryan, you want to coach defense?" I know that his name was out there for one of the jobs. What job was it?
I remember,
it wasn't San Fran, was it? I don't think it was.
No. San Fran. But what, for a defensive coordinator? Was it Miami?
Was it Denver? Actually, I think it was Denver.
Oh, I think it was Denver. Yes. Yeah, it was with what's his name? Sean Payton.
No,
Sean Payton.
It wasn't Miami. Yeah, with Payton.
I think it was with Sean Payton. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Denver. But anyway, something like that. But
it's like we're having technical difficulties, Anthony. Again,
I don't think he would do it, but that would be a man.
You got to call.
I'm hardwired. I don't understand what the hell's going on with this freaking internet, man.
Well, anyhows, battle for first place. So all said and done, in complete turmoil, we are
Still there?
sitting at 2-3. Brand new head coach. It could all be erased with one simple thing to do: just win on Monday night. Fresh start, 3-3. We're in first place. And then we got 11 games to go. And let's find a way to go at least 7-4 to 8-3, and let's get in and let's win the division. That's what's going to happen. So, what you think about that?
That's what needs to happen. I tell you what, I feel a lot better about it now than I did. Uh,
Looks like we're having technical
Can you hear me?
difficulties again. Yeah, I could hear you. It's coming in and out though. And Anthony, are you out there? There he is. Think you're good now, Ant. So as he,
Can you hear me, bro?
yeah, I can hear you. You're good. Well, I could give you my take. Let's beat these damn Bills.
Yo,
Let's take over first place, and let's go Jets.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know what the frick is going on. I got a freaking call spectrum, bro. This is freaking ridiculous. Freaking internet problems. 2024. The hurricane is not even here yet. Anyway, yeah. So when you first reached out to me, asking me about this game, wasn't really looking forward to it. Obviously, we win. That's great and all, but I just didn't see it happening. I felt like this coaching staff let us down again after everything they've done this whole season, these first few games. This change, maybe it sparks a little bit of life. You always you don't always see it, but there's a lot of instances where that first game after a coaching change, some juice enters that locker room, and let's be real, Ulbricht's a guy with energy. He brings passion. He's a good speaker. There's been plenty of situations that we've seen, whether it be through Hard Knocks, the One Jets Drive show, where you see him talk to the players and you just see the passion, you hear the passion, and it sounds authentic and sounds real. Sometimes you feel like when Saleh was in those moments, it didn't seem like it was authentic. The whole thing with the bird and the crow and the eagle and the whatever, that whole fucking thing, whatever. Yeah. It's stuff like that. Yeah, it's a cool story, but even he said he looked it up. It was on TikTok type of thing. Not really a real story. There was that scene in Hard Knocks. It was after, I think it was the Giants practices, or maybe it was the Green Bay, whatever the hell it was. That you saw him really cursing out the offensive lineman. It kind of felt forced, maybe. Whatever. I don't know. But when you hear Ulbricht talk, you sense he has that care, but he also has that care, the no bullshit type of care.
Right.
I don't know. He's a coach. Seems like he brings a little bit of energy. Whether that turns into wins or not, it really can't get worse than just showing up flat every single Sunday. Four games in the 5 games this season, the Jets have just have come out absolutely flat. That needed to change, and hopefully this is the change that we need. But going into this game, they're hurting at the receiver position. Cook got things moving in the right direction again last week. Allen, he got things moving in the second half a little bit better than he did in the first. This is a situation where I feel like the Jets have the ability to lock up the Bills on offense, and the Bills defense they're situational. They're a situational defense. They're going to make you beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. So that's, I think, going to be the biggest matchup. Obviously, I think the Jets defense is going to do their job, as they have all season long. I think they're going to continue to do it. The question is the offense going to friggin' turn the page? Are they going to do something? Are they going to run the football? Is Brees going to wake up in the run game? Obviously Garrett Wilson had his coming out party. We still need to see that from Brees, and we need to see his offense do it as a whole, especially in a game like this. The turnovers by Rodgers, a lot of those are mental. He's got to calm it down. He's got to take a step back, and this has got to be the game. This is the game we brought Rodgers in for. Obviously, want more. Obviously, there's plenty of games down the road, but this moment right here, this is a redo of Monday Night Football last year. This is a redo of getting things right, get this thing going. New head coach, new friggin' potentially offensive game caller. It's not going to be a new offense coordinator. Ulbrich says he's not changing titles, but he might change responsibilities. Whatever.
Whatever that means.
If Hackett wants to be named offensive coordinator, fine. Just don't be coordinating my offense.
I'm gonna hear friggin' Rodgers called audible. Jeez.
Yeah, but even that though, let's be real. Even that's too much, man. Like you can't. A good play caller dials in a couple of good plays, and then and then at that point, Rodgers says, "Oh, I like these two plays. I like this play better. I can run this play." But if the play caller calls in 2 or 3 bad plays and he has 3 bad plays to pick from, what do you think is going to happen? He's not audibling to a completely different play that's not in the playbook. He's in the huddle. He calls 3 plays and says, "Okay, we're running one of these 3," and then based on what he sees, he calls one of those plays. But sometimes all 3 of those plays might suck. And that's
most of the time.
Probably. I mean, that's.
Jeez.
Hopefully, something like that changes. I don't know, but I don't know. It's only fucking Tuesday, and I already have that. I already have that Thursday optimism. You know what I mean? Like it's like the Jets roller coaster. Sunday we suck. On Monday, let's fire the coach. On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you start turning that corner like we could beat them, and then Sunday rolls around again and. We're just back to where the fuck we were to begin with. But I don't know. I have this optimism. New coach. Listen, this team is still talented. I think you look at them compared to the Bills, and I still think that we're more talented than the Bills. But that talent's got to friggin' show its face, man. That offensive line has to friggin' maul people, run people over. The defense is doing it, and the defense took a step back as far as the talent is concerned. And they're still. I mean, they might be even better than last year. I mean, if you really look at him. I know Sauce Gardner isn't the way he was last year, whatever. Okay, he's going to turn it around. Okay, he didn't figure out how to play football. He'll figure it out. Brandon Eccles needs to be on the football field, man. I don't know how you work.
He comes up with interceptions every time he's on that field.
I don't know how you do it, how you get him on the field on a regular basis, whether it's at safety, something. That guy's a ball hawk. He literally finds the football. Figure out a way to get this guy on the football field.
Isn't what's his name out for a couple games?
Who?
Michael Carter.
I don't think.
Is he going to be missing some game? Oh, because I know he left the game with a hamstring injury.
I'm checking it too.
All right.
It's been a crazy week for me, so I'm out of the injury updates. But they probably.
No, I get it.
Let's see what it says here.
I mean, that would be a way to get him in the game.
It doesn't say anything here.
All right, because I know he left the game with a hamstring pull maybe or something. I don't know.
The thing about Carter, though, I mean, being a nickel, I think Eccles more suited for the outside.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's really perfect for that role. I don't know.
Who knows? He might be replacing DJ Reed next year.
Well, that's what I was gonna get to. He's definitely your CB2 next year because you can't pay Reed.
Yeah,
get this guy locked up because I'm telling you what, when he's on the field, he's making plays all the time. It's crazy.
He does. He comes up with interceptions all the time.
Yeah. If only Sauce had the hands that friggin' Eccles had. Man,
would have had that pick in the end zone. Would have saved us the touchdown.
That's another change. And if you really look at a few plays in this game, the Quincy Williams, if he doesn't get tripped, that's really a 14-point swing because, like I said, the pick 6 followed. That was a 14-point swing there. Sauce catching that football in the end zone, 7 points there. I mean, and I'm probably missing a few. Obviously, the Garrett Wilson deep whatever. This is a completely different game.
It's a game we should have won. And it's just a small – this is probably why Saleh got fired. It's those little small points that we just put a whole bunch of scenarios there in one little freaking plate. This is probably why he got fired, bro. It's the small little details that are not
they're missing the details.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, though, he's not coaching the offense. And that's it. That's still the biggest concern after it's all said and done. But what's your prediction for this Bills game?
Oh, man. Jeez. All right. So I think this game, I think the Jets will beat the Bills. We'll go on to 3-3, tied for. We'll be in first place actually because we have the headbreaker and we're 2-0 in the division. But I think the final score 23-17 Jets. I think Rodgers has a backup. Yeah, I think Rodgers plays good. I think they run the ball better. I think that there's going to be a new play caller. We'll find out tomorrow, hopefully. And Devontae.
He said 36 hours, so we'll probably won't find out until Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. And Devontae be, wearing some Jet gear, but waiting. He can't play yet. But he'll be there for Pittsburgh. There you go. That's my prediction.
The line's actually pretty close. It's only 2.5.
2.5?
2.5. But Jets are home.
We're taking the Bills, though.
Yeah, favor the Bills for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, can we hold the Bills to less than 20 points again? I mean, that's the big question.
They do it. They do it at home all the time.
I know. Can we do it again, though?
They got no receivers. Shakira's out now too, right?
Yeah, but they still got Josh Allen.
Yeah, we'll just game plan around him, man. Spy him. Put Quincy on his ass.
Can you believe he went back in that game? Did you see him hit his head?
Yeah, dude. I thought he was going to miss the game. I thought he was going to be done for the year, nonetheless.
I mean, I didn't done for the year. I mean, but that was a hard. And I guess it happened the week before, too. Like, I didn't even know about that one. But I guess it happened the week before, too. But anyway.
What's your prediction?
I don't know. I want the season to fucking be fun. Let's go with 2017.
There you go. Beautiful.
That's Jets, the thing. Right? I just struggle to put the Jets anything more than 20 points until they prove me otherwise. That's
right.
Even 20 points is. I mean, they haven't done that for 3 weeks.
Well, that's all they have to do is score 20 points, and we'd be 4-1 right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The problem is when you start going up against the real offenses, how are you gonna?
Yeah, but I mean, so hear me out for a second. The first 2 weeks, Buffalo looked the greatest thing on earth. After that, man, they don't look no special anymore, bro. These last 2 losses were pretty. They got their asses kicked, bro. They came down to reality. Now, are they still good? Absolutely. But listen, now they're one-dimensional. You got only Josh Allen, and you're gonna have freaking Cook running the ball. They got no receivers. Our guys are gonna lock down whoever's there. I mean, who's gonna beat us besides maybe Dalton Kincaid?
And I think that's going to be a struggle too because the Jets linebackers are pretty solid in coverage.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the old Jets that used to get destroyed by whoever the tight end is.
Yeah, always. Oh and the running backs, bro. And the stupid screen pass to the running backs, bro. Always.
Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore. We got
Nasruddin now. Oh, Sherwood. What am I talking about, Nasruddin? Sherwood. I mean, he's a lot faster. But I think Mosley might be coming back Monday.
Do you put him in though? Like Sherwood's playing.
Rotate them.
Well, yeah, you rotate, but yeah, I mean, but Sherwood's going to be out. I mean, you probably put Mosley in early downs, but I mean,
on like 3rd and long or 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, you definitely bring him out.
Not only is Sherwood playing like great right now as a linebacker, but he's the one calling the plays. He's got the green dot. He's the play caller on the field, so they trust him. I thought that would be Quincy. It's not Quincy.
I thought so too.
But no, he's the one calling the plays. All right, bro. Well, are you all boarded up and you ready to go for this hurricane?
I'm all ready, baby.
You are?
I got hurricane impact windows here, so I'm good.
Still supposed to board up though, aren't you?
Whatever. Well, it's in Miami, in my area here, we're supposed to get. We should probably get a little bit of tropical weather. That's it.
If it
But
drops,
you
though,
guys, huh?
if it dips, you guys can get it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I got shutters anyway. It takes me 5 minutes to put them up.
All right.
You know.
Well, stay safe, bro.
You too, bro. I'll
And
give
let's
you a
go
call tomorrow.
All right.
Take care.